Hello, I'm Ashley Berry of the Cartus Supply Chain Management Team, and I'm so glad that you can join us for the latest installment of the Cartus On the Ground In series. Today I'm speaking with Laurent Quistrebert and Donn Garton from Resident Vietnam. Donn and Laurent will be speaking about subjects that are important to assignees moving to Vietnam.
The first one would be housing. Vietnam, in the past for assignees, there's been limited choices for them. They've either had the choice of going into a villa, which is sometimes old, run by landlords which are not particularly customer service focused, or they had choices of service apartments, which were normally located in the city center away from schools. So that's been kind of the big challenge, finding kind of the right place for families. What's happened in the past year, for the better, has been that there have been a lot of new apartments and a lot of new service departments coming online. So these are international grade, great amenities, professionally run. So what we're starting to see now is that, and they're also located in near schools and traditional expat areas. So what we're really starting to see, and we've seen in the past couple of months, is more and more families starting to choose service departments, non-service departments, and still within budget, and a much easier process for the company and for the assignee themselves. The market has only gotten more competitive, and it's kind of shifting from a landlord's market to a tenant's market. So we're not seeing a lot of pressure on budgets yet, and especially if things keep kind of shifting away from the more expensive villas or compound living, I think we can maintain budgets kind of as they are.
It's about the same situation. I mean, both cities were lacking of international standard options, and many came online also recently in Hanoi, which is of course offering a lot more options for expatriates and kind of drive the rental down as well.
In a similar vein with kind of what's happening in housing, in that, definitely in Hanoi and definitely in Ho Chi Minh, the options have increased remarkably over the past couple of years. Whereas before there may have been two top international schools, in one part of the city. Now we have 3 or 4 kind of spread throughout the city. So not only do parents have more options for schooling, but they also have more options for places to live if they want to live near the schools. These are IB certified, great facilities, great teachers. So I think as far as waiting lists or where am I going to put my child, I think in Vietnam that's not so much of a pressing question. Sometimes it is, but in general we don't have too many problems with waiting lists.
Yeah. We are mainly talking about Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Obviously, in a remote area or even in second scale cities.
Yeah, definitely.
It might be an issue. Learn the language is, I think, one of the key tips in Vietnam. Not necessarily to speak fluently the language, but just to break the ice with the locals. It helps a lot actually to adapt to the local environment.
It's very important for effectiveness in both the job and at home with the Vietnamese staff to gain their trust, to create a relationship from the beginning. And one of the ways through that is to be able to communicate even good morning in Vietnamese. And I think a lot of assignees kind of disregard that part of it and then kind of wonder why is my team not supporting me or things like that. One of the key things about cultural training is, you have to create trust with the Vietnamese people, and then they will support you. But if that kind of trust and relationship isn't created at the beginning, you will have problems later. We still encounter challenges with expectations about housing, expectations kind of about the services you're able to get, expectations about the lifestyle, kind of going back to the cultural training, entertainment, which is all comparatively still limited in Vietnam. So, I mean, we've been trying to kind of create more of a softer landing by kind of giving assignees before they come information about kind of the realities of living in a villa, the realities of living in Ho Chi Minh City, which has a lot of construction, which is very disorganized as far as planning and things like that. Still needs infrastructure work and things like that. So we're kind of trying to work with them. The other part of that is most things are negotiable in Vietnam. So we also need them to know that if they see a house that might be 60% okay for them, we can kind of work with the landlord to get it up to 90%.
You cannot get things done as you may have it done in other countries as quickly as you wish.
Definitely over explaining things and following up on things. I think it's the people. I think if you are successful in creating trust and creating relationships in Vietnam, the people there are very responsive, very loyal, I'll say. And I think the response we get back, is very positive about the people there. They can engage with them, they can communicate. For the most part, things are fairly straightforward if you get an answer back. So I think in comparison to possibly some other places that are emerging markets, at least in my experience and with our assignees, there's a great positive in the Vietnamese people and their attitude and work ethic and those kinds of things.
Hope that you've enjoyed this look into a move to Vietnam. Thanks to Donn and Laurent for sharing their insights with us. If you'd like additional information about Vietnam, please send us an email. We'd love to speak to you. For Cartus Supply Chain Management, I'm Ashley Barry.